It's Friday night, everybody. You know what that means. It's Friday night. Let's have some fun. Let's get together and play a ton.
3, 2, 1.
Blast off. I'm Matt.
And I'm John.
And we're Space Cadets.
Yes, Matt is for sure. But we are two board game enthusiasts who love Halloween, horror movies, scary things, Pennywise the Clown.
Hold on. No. Hold on.
Dracula.
No, hey, stop it. I'm scared of everything. You don't have to do that to me.
Chucky.
Are you going to be outside my window later?
Yes. Hiya, Matthew.
That would be...
Do you like balloons?
Is that Beavis and Butthead?
I don't know.
You gonna be Beavis outside my window? That's me. I mean, that'd be weird all to begin with anyway, if anyone knows what that is.
Hey, baby.
I'm definitely not going outside. But Gigi's, you gotta take yourself to the bathroom.
I see you have braces.
deal with Beavis out there.
I have braces too.
Well,
today's podcast
it's not about Beavis
not
and
about
Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead, but it's about Halloween/horror theme board games and why they're cool and such. Because Halloween's such a fun time of year, and it's exciting, and it's Halloween this week, and that's amazing.
Halloween is awesome. I love Halloween, and you know that because I always host a Halloween party.
Except this year.
Yeah. And that just might kill it. So there may never be another Halloween party ever again.
COVID coming back to ruin everything. So what's awesome about board games in general, for me, Matthew, they offer a really awesome tactile experience that allows everyone playing to spend time together and have fun. You know, positive social interactions. Those are great. And what's really cool about board games as a whole is that they actually offer a lot of games with horror or like Halloween elements in them, and there's a lot of games like that feature especially the Lovecraft mythos, so like Cthulhu, you know, zombies, Dracula, haunted houses, and like the list is massive.
Candy.
And we can really go anywhere we want in the horror genre, because horror can go from like super campy to like I want to just hide in a hole and never see what I just saw again.
Yeah, I'm definitely not for that second one. I'm more about the first. I like campy stuff.
Yeah.
Like if Muppets did a Halloween special, I'm all over it.
Right. You know.
Garfield does a Halloween special, I'm all over it. Tales from the Dead, back when I was like 10.
Tales from the Crypt?
Yeah.
That one?
That scared the living. Well, I mean, when I watched it later, it wasn't as bad.
I used to love the Demon Knight movie. That movie was great.
I think I saw that with you.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm scared of that stuff. Talking about it makes me nervous.
All right, so I don't know. That's what makes me so excited about Halloween and board games. There's just, you could just do anything, and
yeah,
that's
even
what's
like
awesome
even
about it.
pop culture
Right.
is like something, right? Like we all dressed up as all the emotions from that Pixar movie,
Inside
Out.
Inside Out.
Yes, and that was really cool. And that counts as Halloween. Dressing up. It's just dressing up.
Right.
Dressed up as my wife one year. That was fun.
My wife and I went as Jay and Silent Bob one year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
One of my students wanted to go, when I was a teacher, wanted to go as me one year. I'm like, that's actually hilarious.
That reminds me. Do you ever watch Dr. Phil?
A long time ago.
It's not Halloween, but do you remember like the old internet show Bum Fights?
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, I've seen them.
Dr. Phil brought the creator of that on the show to be like, you're an idiot. But the creator went on the show dressed like Dr. Phil, like shaved his head bald and left like the badge.
Wow.
Just to make fun of Dr. Phil. Well, on that show, I saw that today on the internet anyway. So back on topic. So Matt, when you're looking for Halloween or horror themed games, is there anything specific you're looking at? You know, I look on your shelf, I see a couple.
Let's just first narrow it down to something that's very important. Halloween is my favorite holiday.
Which is funny because you don't like scary things, but
well, I like candy, dude. I'm a fat
past
kid,
that.
so I'm a fat kid. I like candy. We mentioned it on our stream earlier. By the way, check that out. 8:30 to 10 on Monday nights.
Twitch.tv/Friday Night GMS.
Nice. We just totally improv that.
Yes. We're not awkward at all.
No. Anyway, so check that out. So that's my favorite holiday, and I mentioned on it that I stopped trick-or-treating around the age of 13 because I was too cool for it. But then after college and university, I was like, wow, you know what? Like, I free candy? I can barely afford this education thing. I'm gonna try to get as much free candy as I possibly get.
Well, that's stupid.
Well, hold on. I went trick or treating. I waited till the kids. First of all, I handed out candy till like 8:30.
Okay.
And then once it kind of went down, I went around the neighborhood and people would just give me all their candy.
I got rid of all my candy. Can I have some more? Please. See, no, I'm fine with older kids trick or treating.
Me too.
I don't really care. That my neighborhood, there's a ton of kids. I usually run out of candy within the first like half hour, 45 minutes of Halloween anyway. But I went trick or treating. I want to say maybe probably around 10 years ago now with my nieces and nephews, and I was dressed as the new Batman villain, I guess, the Court of Owls. So I was in like a nice suit, like a owl, like a barn owl mask. It was really cool anyway. But I trick-or-treated at someone's house that I knew with my nieces and nephews, and they gave me a beer, so I had a roadie.
Nice.
For the entire night. Well, not the entire night.
Our first year in this house, we were giving out shots, but we only had like 2 parents, and both of them declined, and we had like 30 shots. And we're like, oh.
Guess you got drunk.
No, we dumped it out. We were like, I had to work the next day. I'm like, I can't get drunk.
Should have came to your house. But yeah. Anyway, so what do you look for in games, Matt?
That really depends, right? So if it's our core group, which is what, the group that plays on Friday, there's 5 or 6 of us, I usually look for something that's thematic and isn't too long, but isn't too short. So we played a game that was fantastic that we'll talk about in a bit. It was Horrified.
Right.
And that game was the perfect length. It was perfect complexity, slightly less than a heavy game. So it wasn't heavy at all. It wasn't light. It was a little bit more between medium and light rules-wise. And we had a great time. And we played that. And then Seven Souls, which is by a Canadian developer.
Inside Out Games, right?
Inside Up Games.
Inside Up Games.
Yeah, so they're Canadian, and they make a great Cthulhu-themed game where it isn't, I wouldn't say it's like really Halloween-themed. It's more of like a hidden bidding game to get resources.
But it's got that Lovecraft mythos in it, right?
It is a very good game, and the art is
real good.
Fantastic. So if you're listening right now and you want a good 2020 game recommendation, Seven Souls by Inside Up Games is fantastic. We had a blast playing it. I actually was surprised. I didn't think everyone was going to have a great time because it is a little rule intensive, but everyone loved it. And the person I thought who didn't like it actually really liked it.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. So that's for our core group. Now, if we're at a party, really, like, it doesn't have to be Halloween themed. Just anything is really ready to go, right? Like, Ultimate Werewolf is a favorite, and we have played that at my Halloween parties.
Yep.
And people do like playing it, but it's not something that I feel like you need to play. I feel like the game of Things is a really good game to play too. Just anything that really gets everyone involved. Wavelength could be in there too. It doesn't really have to be Halloween themed. Or a trivia game. Trivia games are real fun. Like Geek Out. I'm sure there's a Halloween edition of Geek Out.
There is a horror version of Trivial Pursuit from the op.
Yeah, check that out. That's cool. If you like horror games and you like that theme, which that would actually fly really well with our group, to be honest with you. The only problem is Trivial Pursuit isn't a very large amount of player. It's not a party game.
Right. But
you can make it no party game. Just pick up cards and start questioning people. And then the other thing is self. So if I'm going to play a game that's Halloween themed, and it's solo, I want it to be kind of long and epic. And the game that really fits that is the Arkham Horror series, but specifically Arkham Horror the card game is my favorite because it is the better version. Arkham Horror the game is really long and epic, but it is complicated and it could get frustrating. And we played it a long time ago with 5 or 6 people when we really started just kind of dipped our toes into board games, and no one liked it because it was so complicated. But we were probably playing it wrong back then.
Probably.
Because, we're trying to, it was like a 5-hour adventure. We're learning the rules and trying to play at the same time. It just wasn't a good idea.
That's fair.
But I like playing that. So if I'm going to play a game for myself, it's going to be that, right? If it's going to be a party, Ultimate Werewolf. If it's a core group, Horrified, Seven Souls, Dead Man's Cabal, all great games.
Yeah, for me, I look for games that are really going to have amazing characters in them. So, like Horrified, you have all the monsters. They all have unique abilities in the game. And I think that's what keeps that game interesting, is because the abilities of these monsters can go any way in the game. Like for us, when we played, like we were up on the...
Which game?
Horrified.
Okay.
When we were playing on the terror track, like 15 minutes in, we're like almost dead. We really had to like focus in what we were doing. A good horror game or Halloween game has to have a good story to it for me. Artwork as well, and especially like you can really manipulate the artwork in the game. You know, I haven't played the Arkham Horror card game, but I bet you like that artwork really helps build up that tension and offer that horror element to it, and really get suspense and, you know, maybe some dread in the game as well. That's me. That's what I like in my games.
So you like tension, suspense, suspicion, and dread. You specifically put those down. Why does that make you kind of drawn towards it?
Well, suspense for me requires narrative. You know, similar to like hidden trader games. So games like where you're casting doubt on your players that you're playing with, and I think something like that really shines in a horror Halloween themed game, because when you're thinking about like watching a movie, you know, like especially like a whodunit or like a slasher film, and you don't know who the killer is, and you're like through the movie you're trying to like figure it out by deducing like things are going on, you know, plot wise in the movie. Same thing in the games, right? And I think a really good game that helps with that, and so the hidden movement and stuff like that. When we played, I don't remember when we played Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Jaws is considered a horror movie
Or
suspense movie or whatever, right? But you know, in the game, you know, you're the first part of the game, you're moving the shark around and trying to eat swimmers, and the other players are trying to deduce where you are.
So when I think Jaws, I don't necessarily think it's the most. I mean, it is kind of a Halloween themed game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like the most Halloween themed game. Is there like another game similar?
I would say maybe like the Fury of Dracula.
Oh, nice choice.
You know, that's a really good like hidden moving game as well. And you know, you're trying to deduce where Dracula is in that game. I haven't played a game in forever.
We only played it once,
Yeah.
and I think someone was Dracula and someone on our team was trying to mess us over. So it wasn't as fun. I'm like, we're on the same team. Why are you trying to? He was really creating suspense in that game, because I'm like, I don't know who you are. Like, I'm pretty sure Bill was Dracula.
Oh yeah,
And-
Bill would try to screw
And
you guys
Zach was trying to screw us over.
up. Oh. Of course,
And Zach was clearly like, we're like, dude, you're not Dracula. We know this. Like, stop being Dracula. I was like, no, I'm Dracula. Like, why do you want to ruin this for us, man? We're trying to beat Bill. Can't we just beat Bill? He's super competitive. Don't be on his side. Before you get into a little bit of dread, I just want to say that I don't like, you know, we kind of have very different views on the Halloween topic, and
Yeah.
I'm not really one to like that suspense, but I'll play the games. Theme doesn't pull me in. Like, I'm not a horror genre person, so none of that really pulls me in. And honestly, I feel like I could really enjoy fun or funny Halloween games. Like if the Muppets had a Halloween game, I'm in. Or what about the game Monster Mash? Anyone?
I would like to try. I was trying to find it before we did this podcast, but I just couldn't get it in time. But Campy Creatures.
Oh yeah,
By,
yeah. That sounds amazing.
Keymaster Games, right? You know, stuff like that, right? It's that horror or Halloween element to it, but it's not serious.
Yeah, see, that's the game I really like. You know, like a fun Halloween version of Candyland. I'm surprised that doesn't exist.
Did you see? It's been going. They're a bit older. I've seen them before.
Okay.
But they're making rounds again this year. Someone created online horror movie posters for kids games,
Oh, that's cool.
and it's hilarious. And Candyland's one of them.
Yeah, it should be. Candyland should be. There should be a Halloween version. The op, if you're listening, you do it, okay? And give me 1%. No, just give me candy.
Just kidding.
But anyway, so something like, you know, something that's themed could be, you know, honestly, I just like dressing up as like fantasy characters or my favorite movie characters. I've dressed up as a mage several years. I've dressed up as like a simple ghost. Like I like fun Halloween, you know. I like just having fun. I guess to me Halloween is a party. It's not necessarily like a horror movie.
See, I'm the opposite way. Like I would spend the whole month of October watching horror movies, but I grew up watching horror movies. Like that was what I liked watching as a kid, because it's not like I wasn't allowed, but it was like I was just drawn to it, maybe because like I know I shouldn't have been watching it at that age, but I was anyway.
That's funny because my Halloween, like my October was watching sci-fi movies. Back to the Future, Terminator 2. Terminator 2 is super violent.
Yeah.
So watching like those types of movies, sci-fi, fantasy, like that was my thing. That's what I really liked. Later on, it became kind of a little bit more anime.
I haven't watched a horror movie at all in a long time because my wife doesn't like them. So I have to watch them by myself. And if I'm watching a movie by myself, it's usually at night when I should be sleeping.
Yeah.
And as soon as I put my feet up, I'm out. But back to what we're talking about. I know we got off topic there a little bit, but I also think Dread is really good. And if I'm playing a good horror game, like it should make me feel overwhelmed. And you're gonna laugh a little bit for this, but I think the game Nightmare does this so good. I don't care. What do you say? You give me this
People
look.
cannot see me rolling my eyes right now. I am rolling my eyes.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Nightmare makes you... No, it doesn't. Nightmare...
Okay.
Maybe when I was like 4, and I had like a really crummy TV that was like, you know,
We played Nightmare last year for Halloween.
which was really which was fun. I will admit it was fun.
I brought a crummy TV so we can watch it. But like if you think about like the last was maybe like 5 minutes of gameplay where the gatekeeper's like, "Stop! Answer me!" Like every like 35 seconds, you're like, whoa, right? And he's like getting more intense as it goes on.
You were bothered by that?
No, I'm not bothered by it, but it's just like
I was like, this just feels like, you know, any day playing game. People are always interrupting me.
But it was creating that tension, and that's what I think really does really well because the game of Nightmare is just pure luck, right? You're rolling dice and trying to land on spaces to get keys so that you can open your gravestone or whatever. And because the game is such luck based, like this gatekeeper coming in and disrupting your game, it's just like just get, and then it's frustrating, and especially that last couple minutes where he's like constantly coming in and stopping the gameplay and all that good stuff. So that's why I think it does. It's not overall dread like I'm gonna die, but I think it's just it creates that tension very well for me. That's all I have to say about it. You can disagree with me.
No, I did. I did. I mean, that's just Nightmare. I'm not a big fan of those games that have the high tension. I did actually during Gen Con Online. I got to play one of them. It was the Night Cage by Smirk and Dagger Games, and it actually had that like tension to it where you don't know what you're gonna draw, and whatever you're gonna draw is gonna affect the whole game. And I don't know, it just feels so much more stressful. Which is weird because I play other games with the same tension mechanic, but it just doesn't... I don't know. I guess when it has that horror theme, you know if it has a horror theme, they're trying to kill you.
Right.
So I think that just makes it a lot worse. If it's another game that doesn't have the horror theme, you know they don't care about killing you. They care about slowing you down, right?
Right.
So I think that's what really gets me. And so, like, for instance, Arkham Horror, every Arkham Horror does this. You know, Arkham Horror, the card game, has it's like Doom tokens.
Okay.
And every time I get one, I get partly stressed out. Like I get what's going on, right? The Doom's going up because they're trying to make you lose, but at the same time, you feel like the tension. You're like, I'm just trying to beat this game. Can I just enjoy the story? Why am I even play this? Let's just read the instruction manual and go through the story that I want. That way, I don't actually have to like worry about this. I guess I'm a scaredy cat. I'm
Is what it is, man. Is what it is. And I think maybe why I like horror games a lot is because the game that really brought me into like the bigger picture of board games was Dead of Winter, right? It was a zombie game, right? So, and that game was all about survival, and I had a ton of fun playing.
Yeah, it's a great game, and it actually kind of reminds me of Arkham Horror in a lot of ways. Slightly different, but it has for some reason the zombie theme doesn't freak me out, but there is a tension in there too. You know, you have to have supplies and food every round to try and beat the game, and if you don't have that, then people start dying, and that creates a lot of stress.
Yep, which is all part of it, right?
But you see, like, you know, I look at that and I think like, oh, they actually made another game with pirates. And that's the game I want to play. It's probably less stressful.
What was that, like Forgotten Waters or something?
That is Forgotten Waters, yeah. Good call.
Awesome. So the whole reason we decided to do this podcast is we finally played a game that we've been wanting to play pretty much since it came out. I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to go buy it. I tried playing it at a board game cafe here in our hometown of Windsor, Ontario. Unfortunately,
which was not Tabletop Renaissance, the premier board game cafe in the East End.
West End?
West End.
But the game was missing some components. I guess I should say that we're talking about Horrified by Ravensburger. So when I went to play it at the board game cafe, it was the first game you play, it recommends you play with Dracula and the creature from the Black Lagoon. But unfortunately, the game that I played was missing the camp overlay for the creature of the Black Lagoon. So I'm trying to play. I'm like, I have no idea how to play this Black Lagoon character because I'm like,
It's a terrible experience. Right
yeah.
there.
So I just was like, I can't play it. And it's
So if you don't know, the camp actually has the action on it, which says you need to play an item here to move the boat.
yeah. So that was my first experience, but I kept seeing it on social media and being like, this game's great, and like everyone I'm watching is having such a great time playing it. I'm like, I just need to get it. And and we talked about it a few podcasts ago, like what makes a great IP, and this game is all the Universal monsters. So from Universal Studios, right? So
let's step back a second. Let's explain the game for
Yeah.
our listeners. It's kind of new. It's a 2019 Ravensburger game. It's a co-op action game where you play as the protagonist who are fighting the monsters from the Universal Monsters or Universal Studios monster movies.
yes, and those monsters include Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein, the Wolfman, the Mummy, Invisible Man, Dracula, and Creature from the Black Lagoon.
The goal of the game is pretty simple. The goal of the game is to defeat each of these monsters using the special actions listed on their cards, either before the terror track reaches 7, the item bag runs out of items, or the monster deck runs out of cards. If any of those things occur before you defeat all the monsters, you lose.
Yeah, and during your turn, you have a set number of actions that your character can perform to do various things. And afterwards, you draw a monster card, which ups the tension. So it adds items to the board, it adds villagers to the board as well that you have to try to save, and
Which could up your terror track.
which could up your terror track, and decides what monster attacks. And what's cool about that part of the game too, they have a thing called a Fury. So whatever creature has the Fury token on it, they potentially can attack twice in one move, which is crazy.
And a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun playing this game.
Yeah, and what's cool about this is that I don't really get to play a lot of big games like this solo. So like when I play a solo game, it's usually like a small box, quick and easy game to play. But I brought this home, and one time when my kid was napping, I was like, I'm gonna rock it out, and I played it solo, and I had so much fun playing it solo. That night I played it with my wife, and then I let you borrow it. I know you played it solo a bunch of times to
Actually,
learn the game.
I played it 5 times. I still didn't learn it to play it right. Which there is a lot of rules. There isn't, but there is. And then you just kind of forget things. Like I forgot how if the items run out. So as you pull items and you use them, they don't go back into the item bag.
Right.
I kept putting them back in.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it really mattered in the end, but actually it would have been better because in the end I was pulling the same ones over and over, so it was actually hurting me. So it was probably better if I kept them out, but
Yeah.
different story.
We almost ran out of them in our game, though.
We did, but when you really look back, we had enough.
Yes.
Yeah, we had just enough. I like how the game really makes you think. Like you need to think about all your actions.
Right.
There's no wasted action. Sometimes you're like, hey, this villager needs to die, and the terror track will go up, and I'll still be able to win.
Right.
And it gives you that kind of thought where normally you play a game, you're like, oh, I want to be pristine, meaning you don't want the terror track to go up. You don't want anyone to die.
That would make the game a lot
Impossible.
harder. Impossible, yeah. And you made a good point when we were playing, because you and I have played the game, so we kind of know those strategies. But we were trying to get the other two players. We had Michaela and Novi were playing with us, and we were trying to make sure that they were making the decisions for themselves, not for us. And I felt that was hard for me to do, because I was like, this is what you need to do.
Well, did you like how at the end I'm just like, I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And that's there's an issue with this game. This game, if your group has a controlling gamer, so someone who it's a co-op game, so someone who likes to tell everyone what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't play with that person. Or tell them straight up, you can't tell us what to do.
Yeah, and I feel like I was doing that a little bit.
I kind of wanted to do it during one turn, because I remember one turn I'm like, Michaela, this is the better move for this reason. I was giving her my strategy.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know that, right? And you're not going to know that unless you try it.
Right. But I think that this game offers a lot of dynamic in the group, for the groups too, because you really have to strategize. Like you said, you really have to make sure to do those things. Like, I know there was a point too, it's like, do we kill this villager? Do we die? And then each character that you play with has like a very special ability. So I think Michaela's character and Novi's character had really good abilities, and we were like, just what if Novi's like he can go on any space with a hero or something like that,
Yes.
and then Michaela can go on any space.
Right. But she had one less action.
Yeah, when we were, just suggesting like, hey, maybe you should come here. We can, and then we can do this, and then we're like, okay, we should stop
Telling people
what to
do. Yeah. Actually, there was one epic moment at the end where we kind of all came together, and we're like, what does everyone have, right? And we kind of like all came to the conclusion that this is what we need to do to win the game.
We played with Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein, so they played together, Dracula and the Mummy.
Which the Mummy's hard.
The Mummy is very hard. So basically, what sucks with the Mummy is that someone gets. Do you remember what that token's called?
No, I don't.
So
It's like lost. It's like this. It signals that you're the Mummy's lost lover.
Oh yes.
So he's after you.
So someone gets this token, and the Mummy always goes after that character. It's always gonna
if his card is drawn from the monster deck.
Right. And then we left the Mummy last. It was the last monster we had to defeat. And to defeat him, you have to like match up with the Scarab tokens. So you shuffle them into numbers 1, 2, and 3 are shuffled and randomly put on the board side for 4, 5, and 6. And then 4, 5, and 6 are shuffled and put on the side of the board with 1, 2, and 3. And you have to maneuver the Scarab tokens to match the numbers that they're on. And it's actually very hard because you got to spend an action to do it. Or sorry, an item to do it. And at the end of the game, we all went to the space with the overlay on the museum.
Yes,
museum, because
that's where that's the only place you're allowed to move the scarabs.
Yeah. So we all decided to go to the museum and just use our yellow item card or item tokens to.
Novi had an epic card that let everyone go to the same location.
Yeah, and that's what was awesome. So we were able to beat it, but it was a tight game.
It was.
Yeah.
Because I think our terror track was at like.
It got to 5 really quick.
Yeah.
And then we like managed the rest of the game to keep it at 5, and I think it went up to 6 at the end of the game at least. Well, obviously because we didn't.
Plus we're running out of monster cards. It was a very close game.
Yeah, I think we had like 2 or 3 monster cards left,
and we're running out of items. But the game is designed that way.
Yeah.
Right. So it's designed to like keep you on edge. When I played it solo, I only won once. 1 out of 4 games.
Were you playing with 2 or 3 monsters?
I think I only won the two monster one, and then no. You know what? I played with 3 monsters right from the beginning.
Yeah,
I just chose the easier ones.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I want to try it with 4 monsters next time.
That sounds impossible.
Yep.
Oh, one solo tip: instead of doing 1 character, I actually played 2 characters. I actually found it played better like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When I played it solo, I didn't fully read the rules as usual.
We never do.
But I couldn't because it was my first time playing. I didn't realize who I should play. So I flipped all the cards over and I just chose a random one and ended up getting the newsboy or whatever.
Oh, you chose a courier?
The courier.
Who can only go to other
hero locations.
Right.
and then I'm like, why am I?
This guy's useless.
Yeah, I'm like, why I can't use my player power? This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
and then I looked in the rules and it's like, if you're playing solo, don't play with the courier. Yeah. It's like, oh, that explains.
Which is funny because the special powers of all the protagonists are very powerful and should be used often.
Yep.
It is the strategy of the game.
Right? I think that game when I played with a scientist.
That's a good card.
Yeah. So I forget what their player power is at the moment, but
scientist is add a strength to every item you pick up.
Right. Yeah.
Or use or something.
So I destroyed that game after. Yeah. I mean, for not being able to play it for so long and seeing everyone else play it, we got on that hype train super last.
Well, you know what though? So the game is a 2019 game. It came out at Gen Con 2019, and this is the way board games work. Board games take a while for them to catch on.
Yep.
Right. So it came out last year, and it won't catch on. It probably won't even catch on until next year, to be honest with you. And honestly, it's one of my favorite right now. It's my favorite Halloween game for like 4 to 5 people. Right. Yeah. Because it hits everything spot on: theme, tension, fun, campy. Not scary.
I really should go back and watch these old Universal monsters movies because I remember loving them because I know they're ridiculous, but they're classics.
Right.
Classics. I don't have a TV right now though.
Well, check it out. That's Horrified by Ravensburger, and it's basically 10+. Recommended for everyone who has a small family or wants to play games.
I thought about playing it with my 4-year-old.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd dumb down the rules a bit or something.
A little bit.
Maybe play with 1 character. Yeah.
Why not?
Good idea. So, this is a Halloween podcast, and being a board game podcast, everyone loves lists, right? So everyone loves to recommend games for Halloween. So I have Matt's very obscure Halloween list to recommendation
Yes,
list.
you do. All right, Matt. So let's get into this list. All right, I'm gonna talk about some.
Hold on. I'm gonna throw a theme at you.
What?
Yeah, this is how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna throw a theme at you,
Okay.
and I want you to tell me what everyone says, and then I'm gonna give you my choice. Okay?
Okay.
So monsters. What do you think the normal person would say?
Monsters?
Yeah, if
Oh,
I gave
probably Horrified.
you yeah?
Smash up.
No, Horrified. Okay, well, Horrified.
No, no,
But I'm going to give you Horrified. King of Tokyo. King of Tokyo plus the Halloween expansion. That is my monsters pick, okay?
Okay.
And this is why. Horrified's a good game, but kaijus are way cooler than Dracula and the Mummy. Dracula, Wolfman, Invisible Man, boring. I have a kaiju, comes out of the water, he eats Dracula.
All right.
Dracula can't do anything against that. And how about this, man? In this expansion, you have Pumpkin Jack, the trick-or-treating jack-o'-lantern. How funny is that? Or scary? How scary is that? Super scary.
That
Also,
sounds very non-life-threatening.
Boogie Woogie, a cigar-smoking ghost that looks like he's straight out of Ghostbusters original. Looks like the State Puff Marshmallow Man
Okay.
with a cigar in his mouth.
Hey ya! Hey ya, Ghostbusters! Boo!
Also has costume cards. Who doesn't love dressing up, John?
I kind of want to play that now. That actually sounds kind of fun. Do you have it?
No, I don't. I actually, Bill has the Halloween expansion in
Okay.
King of Tokyo, yeah. Okay, so what about, when I think Halloween, I think Disney. What would be a classic game for Disney?
Oh, Villainous.
No, wrong answer. That's the obvious answer. The answer's Monster Mash, my friend.
That's Disney?
Yeah, actually, this this game actually has a Disney. So first of all, and when people don't even know what Monster Mash is, okay? It's like this stupid 80s game which has this old school ridiculous plastic spinner, and you click it and it stops, and there's like 3 sections to it, and it stops, and you have to match up what it stops on with these cards in front of you, and you have this like stupid plunger like hand,
Okay.
and you smack the table to get the card.
Are we going to play this on our live stream?
We should totally. Yeah, Sam actually wants us to. She's really good at it. She's
Okay,
like
okay.
fantastic. I own it too, so we should. We'll play it for a Halloween live stream,
Okay.
which would be hilarious. But anyways, there's a Disney version of it which has Mickey Mouse and Goofy,
Okay.
and so the cards are not monsters. They have Mickey Mouse and Goofy, and they have
That's
wearing
funny.
hats and clothes and stuff. So that's my Disney pick. Okay, what about zombies?
Obviously, I would say Dead of Winter or Zombicide.
Yeah, Dead of Winter is a really good choice. Zombicide we haven't played. Very classic too. Nope.
I played it, but nope.
Well, I played Dead of Winter. Zombie dice, obviously less scary, man. I don't want to be running through rooms and like trying to fight my way by killing zombies. No, brains in a jar, and you shake up the jar and you throw the jar on the table, and then you count your brain points.
Oh, we played that at Bill's house.
Yeah, it's a
I remember
fantastic
that game,
game.
yeah.
Fantastic. And Zombicide, it's an RPG. I don't want to. There's dice in that game, but I rather have brains on my dice. Just saying.
Fair. Oh, and you can drink, right?
Yeah, you can make it a drinking game. It's actually pretty fun.
Nice.
Aliens.
Oh, man. Nemesis all the way.
Yeah, that is. You know what? I actually agree. That is a fantastic game. But that game takes forever.
Yeah.
It takes forever. And this one's time related too, but in a different way. It's actually easy to set up. This one's a legit pick. Escape from the aliens in outer space. We had a lot of fun playing that game.
Yeah, that was a lot. And then I think it was the last game we played with Kevin. It was the last time I saw Kevin
Yeah.
in person.
Yeah, I'm sure he had a lot of fun playing that. He's probably not saying anything on purpose, but he's on this call. But a game of Nemesis takes months. To read the manual.
To read the manual.
And unpack all the minis before you play and paint them. Game of Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space takes like an hour, so
Yeah, that's a cool little hidden movement game. I actually had a lot of fun playing that game.
What about Cthulhu Mythos?
Seven Souls.
Oh, nice pick.
Or Arkham Horror.
Well, Seven Souls is a great pick.
Yeah.
Arkham Horror. You know what? I'm scared of everything, but I'm definitely scared of another dimension, aliens in another dimension, and crazy people. Yeah, that's not up my alley, okay, bro? But Smash Up Cthulhu has tension. You know, if you never played Smash Up, it's basically you have all these decks, you take two of them, you mash them together, and then you try to compete for points at locations. Well, that game has madness tokens in it. It has the tensions of playing the regular Arkham Horror, and has a little bit of comedy, so you don't really have to feel scared while playing it. What about the theme of exit games?
Well, yeah, I love these games.
I know, it's your favorite.
I mean, my favorite is obviously the actual exit games.
Mm-hmm.
But we really enjoy playing Scooby-Doo, the Choose Your Own Adventure game from the Op, or the Adventure series from Cosmos, which was really good.
Right.
What was your recommendation for that?
Oh, well, you know what my recommendation is?
What?
Don't play an exit game. In fact, put a blindfold on me, put me in a car, drop me off in a cemetery with just like nothing, and then watch me get out. Nothing beats the thrill of a real struggle.
All right.
In fact,
I'll make sure I do that next time we hang out.
In fact, cut my leg up or something and make it like the movie Saw.
Break your ankle.
Yeah. Make it like the movie Saw. Like I have to cut off my leg to get out.
I want to play a game. Yeah, that's why we're here. It's Friday night.
Like what, John? Why are you? What's with this contraption here?
I want to play a game.
I don't want to play this game. Never mind. Let's not do that. All right, and finally, one of my favorite themes that you could argue it's not a Halloween theme, but what about the medieval, Dungeons and Dragons type theme? What do you recommend for that?
Pathfinder?
No, actually don't recommend that. No.
I mean, I haven't played it, but I guess Vast from Letter Games.
Yeah, they're in like a haunted house. It's like an asymmetric fighting game, I guess, technically, and you're going through a house. Yeah, I mean, that's cool, but you know what my suggestion is?
Huh.
Just go trick-or-treating, for God's sakes.
Well, I mean, what are we, 36?
Well, let's go.
Let's do it.
I'll grab one of your kids, you grab your other kid, and we'll take their candy at the end of the day.
We gotta quarantine it.
Oh, yeah, I have to eat these specific ones. But you know what? If you're gonna play D&D, just take a break. Seriously, it is that addictive, and you're gonna need some candy anyway for your D&D event. So you might as well just go trick or treating.
Free candy.
Free candy, yeah. And if you're playing D&D, you probably already have the costume. You're probably all wearing costumes, so it's very easy to just walk outside.
I'm just gonna go as Boogie Woogie.
Oh, from the
Hey. I'm just gonna play the fireball.
Yeah, you do. Wow. Well, let's end on that note.
So yes, we love Halloween. We love Halloween-themed games, as silly as they can be, or as scary as they can be.
Hey, you want to play a game?
Hiya, Georgie. I got your boat. Now I sound like.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. You know what? Your obscure list was fun. Thank you.
I told
Thank
you.
you. I like giving you a hard time, but
I know.
So thank you all for listening. And if you like what you hear, don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or hit that follow button on your favorite streaming platform. Speaking of streaming, we have started live streaming on Twitch. So if you look us up, twitch.tv/Friday Night GMS every Monday from 8:30 p.m. till 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Watch us play some of the games that we will eventually talk about on our podcast. It's a good time. Is there a game that you'd like us to check out, or have you created one that you want us to preview? Let us know by shooting us an email at info@fridaynight.games. Don't forget to check us out on our socials, Instagram at FridayNightGames_official, Twitter at FridayNightGMS, and on our website, FridayNight.games. And remember, it's Friday night, and let's have some fun.